What's up, and welcome back to Bar Fitness Podcast or Bar Fitness TV. Depends on where you're listening or watching. I'm your host, Dwayne Atkinson, and as you can see, if you're watching, I'm joined by two other gentlemen. This is a podcast or YouTube channel that's to document my fitness journey, and my fitness journey has mostly been E2M. So this is actually the first podcast I had a non-E2M person on, so we're excited about that. I have on two brothers, man. They actually have their own podcast as well, so we're definitely going to talk about that as well. But I have on my brothers Johnny and Jack, aka JJ. What's going on, fellas?
Hey man, how's it going, man?
Good, man. So I'm going to jump right in and make this thing public on my phone. Y'all see me looking to the side, and I'm a let's talk about fitness journeys, man. Johnny, I'm gonna start with you, man. You're the non-E2Mer. Just talk about your fitness journey and where you come from and what led you up to where you are today. And then we'll do the same thing for you, Jack.
Cool. You're gonna be Jack all night long, Jake.
I'm gonna be Jack all night long.
I did that.
I appreciate it. By the way, thanks for having us on, man. Been looking forward to chatting with you some. So most of my life, I've struggled with my weight. If I wasn't athletically active, like I played baseball as a kid and was always in good shape, good cardio, good physical shape, fitness. But anytime I would stop playing baseball or basketball or tennis or anything like that, I always tended to put a little weight on, not necessarily from overeating as much as just my metabolism literally requires me to be active, like very active. So getting older, especially getting married and being happy,
right.
Man, I just started packing on some weight, and a few different times, my wife and I would start going to the gym together, and I'd start dropping Fluff again and getting a little more fit. And then there was always something that would just sort of throw a monkey wrench, man, into the plans. I'd get sick or something would happen. And so I've gone for the last probably at least 5 or 6 years without much effort, and had gotten to a very scary, healthy place where I was embarrassed to see myself in the mirror. I was having a hard time sleeping because I was having a hard time breathing. Going up the stairs was painful. Man, putting my shoes on, tying my shoes even was a big deal. Like it just was really bad.
Wow.
And so I there's always something that catalyzes, us into a new season. Somebody took a very unflattering picture of me and tagged me on Facebook. And when I saw it, it broke my heart. And I was like, this stops right now. I'm done. So that's kind of what's brought me to the season I'm in. The good thing is I've found activity that I can do that there's no excuse. Like I have no reason whatsoever anymore in this day and age with our technology. You can find something, to do, whether you're looking at a computer or whatever, there's something. And so I found an activity that I love doing. So my eating habits now have changed so that I can fuel my body to do that activity. And with that, I'm dropping Fluff. I'm adding more firm, I'm firming up again and just loving it.
Nice. So what's that activity? You kind of alluding to it. I mean, I know what it is because I listen to podcasts, but for those that are listening, man, what's that activity you mentioned?
Yeah, so I discovered through my son's Oculus Quest, which is a virtual reality headset. I had played a boxing game on it like a couple years ago when he first got it, and playing one round like against the computer, I was just drenched in sweat. Just from like swinging at the air, but in the headset, like it feels real. It feels like you're boxing somebody.
Right.
And so when this brain, my mindset changed, I thought, I wonder what other fitness apps are out there now. Like things that would be like that would be fun, but maybe I could sweat at home. And so I did a little investigation that ultimately led me to an app called Supernatural that is led by fitness coaches. It is intentionally for cardio and aerobic physical exercise. It obviously doesn't have any resistance training in it, but it's a full body deal. and it's fun. It's set to music. So I'm in a headset, man, with a headband on, sweating like a fool to some of my favorite music, you know, whether it's EDM or hip hop, like you can pick different genres and just have fun. And it's similar to, I've told people it's similar to how like years ago you'd have to buy like a videotape of somebody doing a routine, and you had to like learn the routine to be able to do the moves they were doing. With this, because you've got virtual reality like targets coming towards you, you're not watching a person and trying to learn their movement. You're just hitting that target in whatever direction it's pointing. So like your move, full body strikes, like all this kind of stuff. So Supernatural is what I've been using. Today was day 88 in a row in the headset.
All right.
And I'm burning anywhere from 600 to 8 sometimes 900 calories doing an hour to hour and a half. It's heavy aerobic exercise. So,
wow.
Yeah, man.
It's no joke.
That is no joke.
Yeah.
All right, Jack. I mean,
you gotta keep doing it
all night. Hey, brother, you know you're my guy. So, Jake, man, tell folks about your lead up to, because you were actually a E2M client. So talk about your lead up to E2M, and then we'll circle around with some more questions.
Sounds good. Yeah. So prior to September, I had lived a really pretty sedentary lifestyle. Just like everybody else, my metabolism started to tank in my 30s. You know, I had been kind of holding my own up until I got to about 30, 31, without having to do a whole lot of extra work. I never really did much exercise. Here and there, I'd have a gym membership. I'd work towards dieting, losing weight, where I'd count points or maybe clean eat for 30 days, whatever that might be. But there was always like an end point to that. There was always a finish line, and then I was like, oh, I'm done, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And then 6 months would go by, 20 pounds would pile on, and there I was. I used to.
So just to break in, man, I just wish that the creator would have just put a set button. Like once you reach your fitness, like, can I hit this set and it just stay there and I ain't got to do nothing? I just wish he did that, man. Like, I don't know, man, but go ahead.
That'd be awesome, right? I guess it wouldn't be work though. So I mean, the most that I'd ever done was I was doing some martial arts for a while and competing, doing grappling, submission wrestling, that kind of stuff, and that kept me relatively fit through my early to mid 30s. But then I stopped, and man, oh man, the pounds came on, and like Johnny, I'd found myself in a real unhealthy spot. My wife, through a friend, kind of turned us on to E2M. I rather begrudgingly did the first couple workouts, but I committed to, okay, we're going to give this a shot. I was a little, I don't know if I want to say disappointed, but I was a little cynical at first. I figured, you know what, this is just going to be one more thing that I'm not successful at, one more thing I'm not going to do great with. But you know what, we paid for it, we were in it, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a shot. And through just showing up over time, I ended up getting some results and loving it. And from the engagement and the results that I'm getting, and the kind of fellowship and group that we've got, it's got me hooked, man. It's got me hooked.
Nice. That is awesome, bro. And everything you said, it all I can echo that. Going through that stage when your body can't or starts to keep up with you, and even with you, Johnny, man, that unflattering picture, for me, the first time, because like you did, Jake, I had spells, like the first time my dad saw me without my shirt on, he was like, oh, you got fat rolls on your back. And I was like, oh snap, let me start working out, and I worked out and got to a place where for me it was injury. Like I hurt my knee, and then I gained all the weight back. And then the next trigger was I was at school. I used to work at a school, and they, it was a special needs school, so they partied like every week. So I had like a plate full of donuts and cakes and whatever. And the janitor walked by and said, man, you're gonna have diabetes. And I was like, because I hate needles. Like I was like, oh no, so I got healthy again, so it's amazing how we go through those ebbs and flows, man. But what I love where we are now, and I think all three of us can agree, we're to a place where we found something that we can stick with, that we actually can call it a lifestyle, man. You're talking about, how many times you've been on the Oculus, what was it today?
Today's the 88th day.
Yeah.
There've been several days I've gotten in twice and done like 2 hours, 10 minutes, because I just love it.
Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about, man. When you find something you love, you enjoy. I know for Jake, it's the brotherhood and the, being able to connect. All of those things play an important part. So let's talk about you guys' podcast, man, because I am I love podcasts. I've been podcasting for 6 years. I'm a student of the game. I love the game. Like, I always try to encourage people to do it. So as soon as I heard that you guys had one, I was super excited. Wanted to make sure to get you on. So let's talk about the genesis, man. What was y'all just come to like, hey, let's do a podcast? Like, how did we get to this place, man? Talk about that, Johnny.
Yeah, it was just about like that. Actually, Jake, it was either before I got started or I was planning on starting, waiting for my Oculus to come in. So I had already reached out to Jake and was like, Jake, man, I know you're doing something. I don't know what you're doing, but man, I see you shedding pounds and like getting healthy. And so we had sort of started having a conversation, but I don't think I had even started with my headset yet. And Jake actually brought up to me, he said, what do you think? Have you ever thought about doing a podcast? Or because I'm kind of thinking about it, and I don't know a whole lot about the technical stuff yet, but do you have any advice? Because I've done streaming before and stuff like that. And so that was kind of the beginning of the conversation, I think, Jake, wasn't it?
Yeah, essentially that was it. When I asked you about it, you had been hitting me up about different things that I was doing. I'd had, several people send me Facebook messages. Hey, what's going on? What are you doing? And I realized that I was learning a lot about myself, a lot from the coaches, a lot from people in E2M. And I thought that there might be an opportunity for me to share some information with people and just be encouraging. And like Johnny said, he's got the experience with this stuff through different streaming platforms and things that he had done. And I called him up for some advice, and we didn't really get anywhere for a couple of weeks. And then he called me up and he's like, let's do it. Let's do the podcast. Yeah. I'm like, yep, let's do it.
Yeah. Once I had started, because the Supernatural, there's a community as well. Like you mentioned, the brotherhood that you guys have, man, that's huge. I think no matter what you're involved in, it's having a tribe,
For sure.
But I had gotten involved and had started sort of just sharing daily updates with the Supernatural community as well. And people were like, you need to have a YouTube channel, or you need to do, because you're inspiring us. And I finally just tagged Jake in one of the posts, and I was like, you know what, I'll do it, but it'd have to be with my cousin Jake, because he's knocking it out of the park. And he responded, and then legit, I called him, I'm like, bro, let's just do it. What are we waiting for? So here we are, Fluff to Buff, baby.
I love it. I love it. Fluff the Buff. Real. That's super cool, man. So you kind of touched on it, as far as what to expect when someone is listening to the show. What are some of the things you guys talk about? I know you even had guests on. I love that. I mean, I've listened, but for those that are watching or listening to my show, what are some of the things they can expect at Fluff to Buff?
It sounds like we found him, Johnny. He's the one person other than our parents and my sister and your sister that listen. That's it. There he is. Dwayne, nice to meet you, man. Way to go, fan number one.
You're welcome.
Johnny, you wanna start this one off, and I'll
Yeah, sure. We basically we kind of have it segmented right now to help sort of guide the beginning of each episode. Our desire is for every episode to be conversational, because that's where Jake and I found the most benefit together before we started the podcast, was the conversation of, man, I had this win this week, or man, I had this challenge, I got this thing I'm working on, or whatever. That was where we found that encouragement. So we really want every episode to be conversational, but we do have it sort of segmented. It goes live on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays is Do the Work Wednesday. So we're going to be talking about practical tips on doing the work, like actually putting in the effort, A lot of times we'll have, something that's inspirational, an inspirational quote or thought towards that. And then every Wednesday is when we also give sort of our progress update. Like what were your wins in the past week? So that we can share those with people too. Cause we found with each other, some of the wins that we share, it's like, I never would have thought necessarily to share that with a bunch of people, but you sharing it with me just encouraged me, man. So people need to hear it. So we kind of do that once a week on Wednesdays. And then Saturday, we've kind of dedicated to be Saturday Matters Day. In other words, every day matters. Every single day matters. Even if you're taking a rest day or whatever, it still matters that we're intentional in its lifestyle and it's not just throw it to the wind. So yeah, within that, we've been able to have a guest, a good friend of mine from the supernatural community already, and we look forward to having more guests like yourself, Dwayne. We'd love to have you on our podcast as well, man.
I love it. Yeah. Now and actually I think that might have been the first episode I listened to when you had the guest from the supernatural. She was really fun to listen to, man. I love it, man. So I really, the whole concept idea, I love all of that, because what I found with this fitness journey is a lot of times when you're not even trying to inspire someone, but just talking it out, like you said, conversational, just being yourself is inspiring people. Like I get that compliment so much in the group. It's like, oh my gosh, you inspire me. I'm like, what did I do? Like, I don't, I'm just here, so that I definitely get that. And it's definitely needed, man, because, everybody has a story. Like I said in the beginning, everybody has, just things that they, are going through or working through. And sometimes hearing somebody else go through it and work through it helps them along as well. Jake, so as far as where you guys see this going, man, I mean, is this, you guys gonna be full-time podcasters one day and just you can hire me on? I mean, what where you guys see this going?
Sounds good. I like that. That sounds good to me. That works. I mean, ultimately, Johnny and I are hoping to just keep spreading some love, giving some inspiration, continue to do what we're doing. Right now, I don't think there's any plans for it to be more frequently than every, twice a week. I don't know that we've got time for it right now. And until I get to living in maintenance land, I'm going to be continuing to hustle and do what I can do. Right now, I'm committing a lot of time to working out and being ready. But the podcast, I would anticipate, I don't think that this is going to go in any particular direction, other than we're going to continue to support anybody from any type of program that they've got. Johnny and I both, me and E2M and him through Supernatural. We don't want our podcast to be about we don't want it to be focused on E2M or focused on Supernatural. We want it to be focused on the journey, because the reality is, and we talked about it in one of our podcasts, Supernatural is great for Johnny. It's awesome for him. It probably would not work for Jake, because I really need the structure that I get from E2M. And he finds, or he's told me in the past that, that structure can feel kind of oppressive to him. So that doesn't work for him. The whole point, the premise of what we're trying to do is promote something that works for you, for whatever person that is, encourage them to continue to do, to find that and to run with it once you get there.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I have to piggyback on that, man, because I say it all the time. I mean, I brag about E2M. I mean, it is thebomb.com, but it's not the end all be all. There are other ways to get healthy. There are other ways to get fit. There are other ways to turn fluff to buff. And E2M just happened to be the best, but that's all. That's my opinion.
There we go.
It's definitely as a family member and friend and onlooker with Jake's life. I mean, it's been like outstanding, not just the transformation, but like the speed at which the transformation has happened. Even 3 months in, it was like, what the heck? Where did Jake go? Who ate the other part of Jake? So now we have our cousin Jack, because he dropped part of himself off.
Yeah, you're right. No more Jake. It's Jack now. You're right. No, that's fire, man. And I love that. I love the heart about it, man. Because that's so true. We don't have all the answers. Nobody do, but what we want, we all have the same goal. We want people to be healthy. We want people to be fit. We want people to live a long time. And want people to, just have a good life, man. As good as it can be. So totally agree, man. All right, fellas. So before we slide out, since this is a mixed crowd, I'm going to let each one of you just kind of any words of encouragement you have for anybody that's listening that's on the sideline that hadn't started anything, whether it's E2M, whether it's picking up the how do you say it? I keep messing it up. The Oculus.
Yeah,
Picking up the Oculus. What would be your words of encouragement for somebody just watching right now hadn't made the transition to start getting healthy and start getting fit? I'll let either one of you or both of you.
Right, I'll go.
Okay.
I'll swing at this one first.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So for me, I think there's two things that are super important, and I'll make them quick. You absolutely need to see. There we go. Sorry, we love that word. That's a transitional word in our podcast. It absolutely gets beat to death. So I had to find a way to throw it in there. Listen to a couple more podcasts, Dwayne. You'll hear it, man. You'll get it.
I think I mentioned that in one of our messages. I said something about it. Yeah,
you could have. You could have.
You need a soundboard so you can go ding every time somebody says it.
Yeah, the money jar sound that works.
Yeah. Sorry, Jake. I didn't mean to derail you, man.
Yes, he did.
I don't even know what I was going to say anymore now.
Hey, whatever it was absolutely
super important is to plan. You got to be intentional. Okay.
Sure.
I plan my lunches. I plan my workouts. I plan what I'm doing. There is absolutely something to that old adage. What is it? Failure to plan is planning to fail. When you don't take time and you are not intentional, you're setting yourself up to lose. That's all there is to it. So you have to think about it. The other thing is fake it till you make it. Continue to show up until you can do it. When I started with E2M, I wasn't able to do those plyo push-ups, and I couldn't do this, that, and the other. I wasn't able to knock out a minute plank or flutter kicks or whatever it was. I just kept showing up every day. So I was faking it till I could make it. And that's all you need to do is just keep showing up.
Love it. All right, Johnny.
It's good stuff. You took all the good ones, man. I
all
knew
the
you were
good
gonna
ones.
do that. No, honestly, I think one of the biggest encouragements, I know we've all already echoed this, but I would put an exclamation point behind it, would be find a tribe, find a community, find a group, like find something you can be involved in with other people that you can interact with, not just necessarily at a gym where there's 30 people all doing the same exercise. Find a way to connect with a support group, because that's where you'll get the inspiration from a Dwayne, from a Jake, from a me, from other people that are there when you may be struggling that day, and you hear someone else's story and you go, dadgummit, if they can do it, I can do it. Come on, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. You'll get that, and you need that wind in your sails. The other thing, Jake and I touched on this the other day, and this has been resonating with me very, very strongly, is this idea: you're the project. You're the project. You're not competing with other people. It's you versus you. You just have to decide which you is going to win. Whichever one of you decides to push forward, whichever part of you, when that side of you says, I'm going to push forward, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do a little bit more today, right? Then that part of you wins. You're making progress, not perfection. You keep making progress, and you will look up and go, holy cow, man, wow, my pants fit better, my shirt's fitting better. You're going to feel better. Your heart rate's going to be better. All of those things are going to be better. You're the project. It's about you. So stay focused.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Appreciate you guys coming on the show, man. This was definitely fun. Right. To the Bar Fit folks. Hey, we appreciate you guys tuning in to Bar Fitness TV. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Go and subscribe. Let me get my little YouTube icon up here. Boom. Go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube. Just go to Bar Fitness TV. And like I tell you guys every week, we always end the show. 1 Timothy 4:8. Physical body fitness is important, but also your spiritual life is important as well. So on that note, God bless. Peace out.
It's just different.